Hi, this is Scott with Michigan Pool News. I'm with Nick Shelton. In February, it's Chlorking month, and Nick's going to talk a little bit about the return on your investment if you were to move over to a Chlorking system.
So we all know how much we pay for liquid bleach, and the whole concept of chlorine generation is we're taking the raw materials that you use to make chlorine, and instead of paying for that gallon or paying for that carboy, we're making it on site. So what we're doing here is we're establishing the pool gallons, the operation, if they're using cyanuric acid. Cyanuric acid is okay to use with on-site generation to the extent that is permissible by code. Whether the
maybe
pool
not on an indoor.
Maybe not on an indoor. This is an indoor pool, so we're not using it there. Is the pool indoor? Yes. Slides or lazy rivers, this is a good, we might want to play with the size of the unit depending on if there is a lot of water going onto the air, because we all know that that uses up a little bit more sanitizer than if it's stagnant. Backup chlorine, we always want to have backup chlorine or on-site generation, just for the fact that if you need to service the unit, you don't have to shut down your pool. You can do backup chlorination really inexpensively, and it saves you a lot of headache as an operator.
And we prefer a dry, like Cal Hypo system, because the tablets last a year.
Exactly.
They got a big long shelf life if you would ever have to.
Yep, and then again, how much residual we're keeping in the pool. So we put in these variables here, and we got one more column of variables, and that's how much you're paying now for your liquid bleach. We usually like to see in excess of $2 a gallon in our state to start to generate a strong payback. The other major component is how much you're paying for your acid. This client actually happens to be using Acid Magic, which is inexpensive muriatic acid because of the low odor that it emits. It's way more expensive than typical muriatic. These two factors right here are the main contributing driving forces behind how much this system's going to pay back, because the Chlorking unit actually neutralizes the pH of the chlorine before it injects it. So if you're paying a ton for muriatic acid, we typically see a 20% reduction in the use of acid.
Or CO2.
Or CO2 with this system. So you can see where if this number is big and you're saving 20% of that cost, this system starts to make a lot of sense for you. We're calculating now how much chlorine this facility is using a day, what the maintenance cost is on their existing sanitation equipment, and if they have an AC amp draw. If they're on liquid bleach, there's not going to be much because it's a Stentor pump injecting it. This client's actually on Cal Hypo, so they have a 1.5 horse motor that's kicking on to feed the sanitizer, and that pulls quite a bit of electricity. So now we're going to select the unit and tell you how much it costs to buy the equipment, how much it costs to install it, and how much the cost is of the salt. Now, one of the other good things about the Chlorking, the salt is an expensive aqua salt that you throw in your pool. This is salt that you buy at the Home Depot, cheap rock salt. That's what the unit likes to use to make its chlorine, and cheap rock salt is just that, it's cheap. So after we get all this information in, this field down here pretty much populates. The top right here section is how much it is costing you every year to operate with your current system, either Cal Hypo or liquid chlorine. And you can see the total cost of chlorine, $7,324. The total cost of acid for that client per year, $5,727. The maintenance cost is $200, and the electrical cost for running that pump. So we basically come to how much it's costing us to sanitize our pool per year with systems installed, and then we're going to go down and we're going to populate the list of Chlorking and how much it costs to run that system. And you can see, I can go through all the lines, but you can see the numbers are red because it hasn't paid for itself yet, but we get to year 4 here, and all of a sudden at the end of year 4 we're to the plus by almost $11,500. This was a really aggressive payback because, again, how much he's paying for acid and chlorine. But you can see that on-site generation might make sense for you if you're paying a lot for bleach and acid.
For sure. Thank you, Nick. And one great thing about Chlorking too is your salt is not in the pool.
Absolutely.
It's actually built into a brine system on the system itself. So thanks for viewing Michigan Pool News.